Crouching Tiger, written by Yin Yang Kappenstein, illustrated by Yan Nasimbin. My grandpa was coming to visit all the way from China. When he arrived, I rushed out to greet him. "Hello, Grandpa," I bowed, as Mom had told me to. "Ni hao." "Hello, Ming Da." Grandpa mussed my hair. The next morning, Grandpa was dancing slowly in the garden, with his eyes closed. His hands moved like gliding birds. He crouched like a tiger. He drew an invisible bow. He lifted a foot like a rooster and stood still. I ran outside. "What are you doing, Grandpa?" He continued his slow dance. I waited until he opened his eyes. "Good morning, Ming Da. I am practicing Tai Chi." "Tai Chi?" "Yes, it is an ancient martial art." "Oh," I said, "like Kung Fu?" I showed off my fastest kicks and punches. Grandpa watched quietly, feeling my face burn. I stopped. "Could you teach me, please?" I asked in a low voice. Grandpa looked straight into my eyes, then nodded slowly. As soon as I got home from school, I ran out to find Grandpa. "Let's start with the standing meditation," he said. Bending his knees slightly, Grandpa held out his hands as if holding an invisible balloon. "That's easy." I copied his position. Grandpa adjusted my legs. "Focus on your breathing and clear your mind," he instructed. Soon, my knees grew tired. I started to wobble. Grandpa put his hands on my shoulders. "Stand steady. Breathe." How long did he expect me to do this? My arms felt as heavy as bricks. I dropped my hands. "Take a short break, and then try again," said Grandpa. As the week passed, I felt cheated. Maybe Grandpa didn't know real Kung Fu. "Grandpa, my arms are worn out," I complained. "If your arms feel heavy, that shows you need more practice, Ming Da." Although he spoke English perfectly well with Dad, Grandpa always talked to me in Chinese. "My name is Vincent, Grandpa. Your Chinese name is Ming Da. You are Chinese as well as American," he said firmly. On Monday morning, Mom announced that Grandpa would take the bus with me to school. "But Mom..." "No buts, Ming Da. It will give you a chance to spend more time with Grandpa, and is on his way to Chinatown. To avoid talking to him, I read on the bus." Mom picked me up that afternoon. When we got home, Grandpa was still out. "What's Grandpa doing in Chinatown, Mom?" "He's training the lion dancers for the New Year parade." "Is he teaching them how to stand still too?" Mom frowned. "No, Vincent. The lion dancers are serious martial arts students. They have been practicing for years." When Grandpa got home, I hid in my room. The next morning, on the way to school, I jammed my headphones into my ears to avoid talking to Grandpa. It didn't seem to bother him. He greeted people warmly on the street. A worker was hauling boards from a truck. A woman rushed past us, talking loudly on her cell phone. Unaware of her, the worker turned, the end of his board speeding toward her head. In a smooth motion, Grandpa, crouched like a tiger, swept up a leg and kicked the board, breaking it nearly in half. "Wow, Grandpa, how did you do that?" I asked. He smiled. "Lots of practice. I started at your age." That night, when Grandpa practiced his standing meditation, I joined him. Over time, I could focus more on my breathing. My legs and arms didn't tire as quickly. One afternoon, Grandpa put a long bamboo pole into my hands. He taught me the catwalk, keeping my body low and walking slowly, shifting my weight from side to side. I meditated every day and practiced the catwalk while holding the pole up high. I kept hoping Grandpa would teach me to whack things with the pole, but by the time New Year's came, I still hadn't gotten to hit anything. On New Year's Eve, we cleaned the whole house. Dad cut my hair, and Mom cooked a big traditional meal. Grandpa handed me a red silk jacket embroidered with dragons. Mingda, wear this for the parade tomorrow. My heart sank. All my friends would be there and see me in this silly jacket. I excused myself and left the table. When we got to Chinatown, Grandpa took my hand. Stay close to me. It will be crowded. I couldn't pull away from his strong grip. I hoped I wouldn't meet anyone from school. Shouts and cheers mixed with the crackle of thousands of firecrackers. Grandpa led me to a pastry stand. Ni hao, the vendor spoke Chinese with Grandpa so fast I couldn't keep up. Such a handsome boy. Here are your favorite pastries, the vendor said. He gave me a bag with meat buns, sesame balls, and coconut cookies inside. Thank you. How did you know? He smiled and pointed at Grandpa. He has told me many good things about you. You even study on the bus. Embarrassed, I avoided Grandpa's eyes. Let me pay for these, said Grandpa. No, this is my New Year's gift to your grandson. They pushed the money back and forth as if it were on fire. Finally, the vendor stuffed the money into Grandpa's pocket. Go, go. The parade starts soon. Grandpa bowed and copied him. Pushing through the crowd, we met a large group of eager spectators. Ni hao, Grandpa greeted them. This is Mingda, my grandson. Ni hao, they said with big smiles. I jumped when one of Grandpa's friends thrust a hung bao, a red envelope that contains money, into my hands. Chi. Thank you, I bowed. They chuckled and stuffed more envelopes into my arms. Grandpa led me through the crowd to the beginning of the parade route. A group of men wearing jackets just like mine and carrying lion costumes greeted Grandpa warmly. Meet my grandson, Mingda, Grandpa called out. Ni hao, Mingda. Lion dancers gathered around us. I had never been so close to the lions. I stroked their glistening scales. Let's get ready, Grandpa commanded. The lion dancers ducked under their costumes and got into position. Grandpa handed me a long bamboo pole with a cabbage dangling from the top. Mingda, you will be the cabbage boy. He leaned down close to me. I think you are ready for this role. My heart jumped with joy. Don't let the lions get your cabbage, Grandpa instructed. I nodded obediently and gripped the pole. Grandpa lit the firecrackers, signaling the start of the parade. Martial artists led the way. They leaped and whirled about with spears, swords, and other weapons. Grandpa signaled, and I marched off, focusing on keeping the cabbage just out of the lion's reach. People clapped and cheered at the top of their lungs. Many fed the lions hung bao. As we approached the end of the parade, Grandpa yelled, Mingda, let the lions have the cabbage. I lowered the pole. The lions bit at the cabbage and tore it apart. Spraying the leaves into the crowd, I was soaked in sweat, and my arms were aching, but my heart was filled with pride. Good job, Grandpa patted my head. The martial artists and the lion dancers gathered around us and bowed to Grandpa. Shi, thank you, Master Chang, for a great parade. When Grandpa and I headed home, it was growing dark. I grabbed his arm. Grandpa, I said, I promise I will practice harder. Grandpa took hold of my hand. Mingda, remember that a good martial artist must first gain self-discipline. The standing meditation looks simple, but it builds your inner strength and increases your speed and power. I nodded. To study martial arts is a serious commitment. It takes many years of hard work and dedication. He paused. I held my breath. I believe you have potential. Thank you, Grandpa. I promise to do my best. Grandpa smiled. And now, he said, shall we enjoy those pastries?